Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again to share a beautiful, short and sweet idea on this coming Parshas Vayechi. We have a new phenomenon. We've had blessings being given down from generation to generation, but the first time we have a grandfather. Yaakov is the grandfather giving a blessing to his grandchildren, to Ephraim and Manasseh. And what's very special about this blessing is he just doesn't only bless them, but he says, B'cha yevarech Yisrael lemor yesimcha Elohim k'Ephraim v'Manasseh. He gives us the right formula, how to bless our children throughout generations. And how should we bless our boys? And that's how we do until today. Those who have the minhag to bless their children on Friday night or towards Chagim. Yesimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim u'Manasseh. Why ke'Ephraim u'Manasseh? Why not like Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov? Why Davka ke'Ephraim u'Manasseh? The question is even stronger because when we bless our girls, so the blessing for girls is Yisimech Elokim ke'Sara Rivka Rachel v'Leah. So the parallel would be Yisimcha Elokim ke'Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Why do we say Yisimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim u'Manasseh? So I want to share with you two ideas. First idea takes us back to the previous Parsha, to a very exciting moment in Parshat Vayigash, that the brothers come back to their father to report that Yosef is alive. What happens to him when he hears Yosef is alive? He faints. Vayofag libo ki lo ha'emin lahem. Ramban says he just fainted. He couldn't believe it. And then they slowly started telling him over the whole story. And then he saw the royal chariots that were sent by Yosef. V'atechi ruach Yaakov avihem. Vayomer Yaakov od Yosef b'ni chai. Only then did he realize he's still alive. What's going on there? So Rashi explains there that there was a hint, a spiritual hint in these chariots, in these royal chariots, that made Yaakov understand that Yosef, in spite of the fact that he has been in Egypt for 22 years, disconnected from his family and from his roots and from Judaism, has stayed loyal to Judaism. Because Yaakov immediately hears that Yosef is alive and well, he's happy for his physical being, but he's worried about his spiritual being. Is Yosef still alive spiritually? And since he sent this hint with these royal chariots, it says, V'atechi ruach Yaakov avihem. He became alive because what does he understand? Od Yosef b'ni chai. He's not only alive, but he's still my son. I can still identify him as my son, and he can still identify me as his father after all these years, especially now that he's so powerful in Egypt, because we know wealth and power cause people to stray away from religion throughout history. And therefore, he was worried about his spiritual health. And when he found out that it's fine, wow, he was so excited. Now we go to this week's Parsha, and Yaakov sees that not only is Yosef spiritually well, but his children, who grew up totally in an alienated area in Mitzrayim and Egypt, that Rak en Yirat Elokim b'makom hazeh, says Avram about Mitzrayim. It's a terrible place. It's alienated from Jewish religion. And still they stayed, even the grandchildren stayed loyal to Judaism. Wow, that's amazing. That means Ephraim and Manasseh have a special power of being loyal to the Jewish people in spite of living so far away from Judaism and from Jewish people. And that is the blessing we have to give to our children every generation. That we wish our children that wherever they are, we don't know where they're going to find themselves in the world. We don't know what situations they'll have in university or in the IDF or wherever they end up being. They will be challenged. They'll be challenged spiritually. And we want them to stay loyal in spite of all the spiritual challenges, and we wish them to have the spiritual powers of Ephraim or Menashe to stay loyal under any circumstances. That is the first explanation why we say Yesimcha Elokim ke Ephraim or Menashe. The second explanation is beautiful. It's brought down the Alshech. Rabbi Moshe Alshech was a great rabbi and posek in Tzfat 500 years ago. Brings up a beautiful idea. He says we have to go back to the beginning of Bereshit, and from the beginning of Bereshit, we see rivalry between brothers. So Cain and Hevel even killed each other. As far as later on, when we talk about Yitzchak and Ishmael, and we talk about Yaakov and Esau, and we talk Yosef and the brothers, there's rivalry, there's animosity between brothers. Brothers are all the time jealous of each other and see each other as a threat, and brothers don't get on together. And what happens in today's Parsha is amazing, because what Yaakov does, he changes his hands and puts his right hand, the more important hand, on the younger son, which is Ephraim, because he knows Yoshua ben Nun is going to come out of him. And the less important hand he puts on Menashe, who is the Bechor, who is the firstborn. And Yosef goes back and says, Dad, you can't do this. You can't prefer the younger over the older when you give the blessing. I mean, that's what got us into this terrible situation in the first place. Yaakov says, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. But then he notices that Ephraim and Menashe are not jealous of each other. So the younger got the better blessing. So what? That's okay. That's okay. Once Yaakov saw that they were not fighting over the wrong person getting the wrong blessing, he said, wow, here are two brothers who love each other so much. Let our children have the koach of Ephraim and Menashe not to fight, to give in to each other. We're brothers. Let's live together. Let's take a deep breath and find a common denominator. And that's why we bless our children. Every Shabbat, we bless them. Hopefully giving them the bracha, the blessing of the powers of loyalty that Ephraim and Menashe carry with them, and the powers of friendship and love between the brothers. Fantastic idea you should have in your mind when you bless your children this Friday night. Shabbat Shalom.